Tigers.
And an applause. What a turnaround for the ROX Tigers and Peanut. So the first thing I have to ask you about is that Baron steal that made it all happen. What was the communication like? What happened?
우선 승리를 축하드립니다. 그 승리를 할 수 있게 된 원동력이 아무래도 피넛 선수의 바론 스틸이 아니었나 싶은데요. 바론 스틸 당시에 팀 내부적으로 어떤 얘기를 하고 있었고 상황이 어땠었는지 말씀해 주세요.
솔직히 바론 스틸 상황 때 좀 잘 막을 수 있을 줄 알았는데 상대가 생각보다 잘 선택을 해가지고 싸움을 거는 판단을 해가지고 저희가 이제 솔직히 바론을 먹히면 진다는 거 다 알고 있었나 봐요. 종인이 형이랑 저는. 그래서 그냥 아무 말 없이 바론에서 그냥 피지컬로 했던 것 같아요, 게임.
At that time, we thought we could prevent them from hitting the Baron in the first place, but they made a really good decision to pick a fight on us. And after we lost a team fight, we were like, both Prey and I, we knew that this game would be over if they take the Baron. So we were just like silent, we were just like waiting for the best timing. And I think like Prey and I, we just like had to use our own mechanics to steal the Baron.
And you did. So you needed that Baron steal. So can you explain to me what happened in the early game for you guys?
그렇게 바론 스틸을 해야 할 만큼 경기가 초반에 매우 불리했는데 경기 초반에 어떻게 상황이 전개되는지 말씀해 주세요.
일단 제가 저희 녹턴 픽을 3, 4픽쯤에 얘기를 꺼내가지고 이제 저희 이미 서포 픽을 소라카로 한 다음 약간 픽도 약간 꼬였던 것 같고 제가 괜히 녹턴 얘기를 꺼냈나 싶었기도 했고 이제 게임이 너무 초반에 답답해서 녹턴이라 그래서 게임이 힘들었던 것 같아요.
So I think I picked Nocturne around the third and fourth pick phase, and at that time already our support was Soraka, and overall I think the Nocturne pick didn't work out too well in the early game. Actually, I was kind of regretting that I mentioned Nocturne in the first place. So yeah, I think the Nocturne pick and my own plays made our early game pretty difficult.
Yeah, it was intense, but you do have the win. You're looking very good. You're a favorite for the tournament, but your eternal rival from the LCK, SKT, they showed a dominant performance in their first game. Faker said that they will be doing good. Does that concern you going into the rest of the tournament?
그지 락스타일 팀이 지금 비록 이제 전승을 하고 있지만 이제 영원한 라이벌인 SKT 팀은 지금 또 첫 경기에서 매우 좋은 경기를 보여주고 있었고 페이커 선수도 이제 인터뷰에서 지금 많이 상황이 나아졌다 LCK 있을 때보다라고 얘기를 했어요. 그래서 이렇게 선전하고 있는 SKT 팀을 보면 어떤 생각이 드시나요? 경기가 되는지.
네, 당연히 경계가 되고요. 역시 SKT라는 생각이 또 한 번 더 들게 되는 것 같아요. 그 경기력을 보고.
Like watching SKT play, we just thought that, of course, this is like SKT, like this is their team. And yeah, like they're in our radar.
I can imagine that. Well, a long way away for that. A lot of group stage matches left to come. 2-0 so far. Congratulations, Peanut. Great game from the ROX Tigers. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Shox. Before we do anything, I think we need to take a moment and appreciate the insanity that was the game that we just witnessed here in this arena.
Oh, that was a good one. I love League of Legends.
I mean, I'm up for the spicy games, and that one, seriously, it was off the charts on the spicy level.
Yeah, you're clinging to that right now because it almost didn't work out for you.
I mean, we all predicted it, Stress, but I think all of us were like holding on to our apparel. We weren't sure.
What I'll say is I'm just going to put it under the desk.
Okay.
I still go with them, but G2 put up a much better performance than we expected.
Yeah, very much so. All right, well, let's start working through this one step by step. Starting with the early game, Kobe, Trick came up big with a lot of ganks.
He definitely did. All right, so this is Nocturne versus Olaf matchup. Olaf definitely wants to make something happen early because Nocturne is trying to farm up. The other thing, to level 6, the other thing is that Nocturne, he wants to gank lanes that already have CC. So Trick knows he's not gonna go bottom lane, especially pre-6. So he goes down there twice, burns the flashes with the Ghost the first time, returns for the kills and gets both of them. Such a huge lead. Then he's got this momentum against Smeb in the top lane. What we didn't show here is actually another highlight of Expect escaping the counter gank that Peanut tried to do on the top side, which was just as important. After he escapes that, they know Smeb had no flash also. He does 2 wraparound ganks through the lane, into the side brush, dodging the shurikens so that Smeb didn't know he was there and absolutely blast both sides of the map in that matchup.
And consider how much happened, Kobe, before Nocturne ult was available and then in between Nocturne ult, the efficiency of those ganks, which needed to be there, was amazing.
Really, really good ganks from the Olaf there from Trick. I have to say that there's one small improvement that Peanut actually could have made in the first gank that he did on top side to answer the bottom side gank. With Nocturne, you usually want to use your ult and then pre-flash, expecting that the enemy is going to flash. So as soon as he saw, expect go for the hop into flash. He should have immediately flashed to keep the tether on the fear. He did not do that. Expect got out with a very good play. And man, it was such a roller coaster after that because we're not done.
I mean, that's the thing, right? After that, it looks like G2's off to the races. It doesn't look like there's any stopping them with the lead that they've built, but then in comes the hero, Peanut, with a huge smite steal off of a lost fight.
Exactly. This is the lost fight. I mean, ROX Tigers end up 2 versus 5. Smeb goes in. He gets a couple of people locked down, but it's not enough. Again, Expect is finding his way into the back of the fight. The damage all comes through because, you know, we got a full damage Karma build. Who even needs the utility come out from Perks? And at this point, G2 have a couple of options. They commit to the Baron at first, but it's either pull away and try and deal with the people contesting around the objective, or all in for the Baron, and they kind of 50-50 on it. You can see Perks is trying to zone, Peanut still waiting for his opportunity to get into the Baron pit, and with the low health bars, G2 flip-flopping on the decision-making. It's about Peanut coming around with the flash, and as that drops beneath 720 on the Baron, that was the moment that Trick was looking for. That's what his smite should have secured it with, but late on the play...
Kobe's got hands on heads right now. What's going on over there?
I mean, jungle smites around Baron like that are the most intense thing in the game. Maybe that's just because I'm a jungler, but the adrenaline is pumping right there. And the small margin of error there was literally Trick waiting for that auto attack. It was 58 health off, trying to combo, because Olaf has true damage. You combo the Reckless Sling plus the Smite. Then you go into easy doing the mind games of, as soon as I Reckless Sling and Peanut sees the animation from the spell, is he going to Smite? Am I baiting out his Smite with that? Because you would expect him to immediately combo those. He's 58 health off. Then he auto.
My brain hurts,
And
Kobe.
Peanut deserves so much praise for that. He had the exact perfect smite.
Very much so. That was an over 7,000 gold Baron power play as well, so you can see how much it did for them in terms of getting back into the game. But now, Papa Smithy, it's time to revisit the play that showed why Smeb is one of the best players in the world. Here's another look, brought to you by Acer.
As you said, the Baron steal was to stop the death sentence, but then we see this fight. So the initiation starts, you're waiting for the cannon ult. And the other big takeaway here is when we see that cannon ult rip through so many, holding onto it for so long. But I actually want to get to a bit of a bigger point about the team comms here. Double teleport, but from the Karma against Nocturne. It's very hard to use. It doesn't interact very well with the Nocturne ultimate. If they had a second exhaust, I think Jat put it best on the desk. They were talking about, okay, if Nocturne goes in, you want to exhaust him, then there's no exhaust for the cannon. So the fact that they didn't have a second exhaust and didn't get much value out of the second teleport, I think was a pretty big issue.
And that's the funniest thing, because G2 were getting value out of collapsing mid without the teleport early on. That's exactly how they took the mid tower initially on the outer side. They brought Perks in, and they've had Prey still on the bottom side. There was no way of collapsing. So as you said, not a whole lot of value out of that TP on its own.
I have to say, though, biggest takeaway for me, we have to remember G2, huge improvement from their game versus CLG to this game, so the group is definitely still tight.
Yeah, we think of the narrative, though, Dash. We were like, okay, they're probably not going to win this game, but they want to show more. They showed so much. They took the world champion favorites right to the line. A Baron steal of all things is the only reason the ROX Tigers are 2-0.
Heads should still be held high, but perhaps the head that is highest of them all right now would be Peanut, player of the game. This was not an easy decision to be made, as there were plenty top performers on ROX, but that smite steal, keeping them in the mid game, the most important thing.
You can go down the list, but Peanut, his pick as well as his play had a lot of influence. The Nocturne ults allow for the cannon flanks, shut down the Jhin, get the smite steals as well. Peanut was offering so much for the Tigers.
The way I look at it, if you call for a Nocturne pick, you force first pick Ezreal, because no one's going to be peeling when you have a Nocturne dive comp. It's all about you, and he was the clutch player on the day.
I don't think we have time to get about honorable mentions for everybody else on the team, because that game was awesome.
It was absolutely insane. Well, we need to go on cooldown as we make way for Group B, because up next is the LMS's Flash Wolves versus North America's own Cloud9. Stay with us.
Nailed it, boys.
As ROX Tigers face off against Europe's G2 eSports.
TV coming in. Gorilla's in trouble. First blood picked up by Miffy. Teleport was cancelled, and Trick gets a second. G2-0. Kuro gets caught by the bubble. Deadly flourish roots nobody. The curtain call.
Nice. Yo. Nice.
Peanut's going for the 50-50. G2 all low. A flash in from Peanut. It's secured. The ROX Tigers get the Baron. Expect gets caught down. He's got a PA, remember, but he needs Mega. Oh, no! Deleted! Remember, I've seen one. And G2 are aced. ROX Tigers remain undefeated in Worlds 2016.